Alright, so chapter 1028 just released, and it was so good. So good, so good. I love this chapter. Once again, this year has been a fire year for One Piece chapters. I'm pretty sure it's one of the best years for chapters, so that's a great year to start reading weekly, but also probably going to set me up for a miserable expectation when it goes down a bit. But that's fine. One Piece is One Piece. I'm okay. I've been invested now, so I'm into it. Whether it's a slow week or a really hype week, which was this week. I'm going to talk about a few things, but I got to keep it short because there's a few different topics I want to speak on, but I'm a bit busy, so I'll talk about those topics later. So I will mention at the start of the chapter they do bring up Lucci, but we're not going to talk much about that in this kind of discussion because I have a separate thing I want to talk about with Lucci, kind of relating back to that discussion I made earlier on in the year about the Grand Fleet. So we'll touch back on this later, but once again, this chapter was a very Sanji focused chapter, and me and Sanji have a difficult relationship. I've loved the character up until Thriller Bark. I wasn't a big fan of what happened there, but I was like, just sayings, we'll move on. Loved the character up until literally Act 2 of Wano when he did that whole bath thing, and then I've been a bit rocky with him ever since. Don't like I don't mind the little what he's been doing before, because it hasn't been anything that breaches boundaries, you know what I mean? It's never breached boundaries from what I can remember anyway. But that was a boundary. Man, you're not just a chivalrous pervert anymore. That was a boundary you shouldn't have breached, mate. Talking about wanting to do it and doing it are two separate issues, but I wasn't a big fan of that, and I still haven't really got over it. But he's trying his best to make it up to me. He's trying his best to bring back Mr. Prince, which I'm really happy about. But I'm just kind of, I don't know, man. That really didn't sit well with me. It did bring up Brook in my book, to be honest, but it just didn't sit well with me what he did with the raid suit. But you know what? We'll move on because he was a badass in this chapter. And he's given us a lot to talk about. I have my own opinions on it. A lot of people are going to be annoyed about it, but there is a lot to talk about. Let's start with Queen. Queen is becoming a more and more interesting character combat-wise and just kind of fun to watch and read. He's got all these different gizmos and he does all these funny dances and he's just a funny dialogue. And then now he has a projectile head, projectile dinosaur head that can wrap around people like a snake, and then also his arse is a cannon, which is really cool, really fucking hilariously cool. It's actually so funny. I find that hilarious. And especially the part where he's like, if I say its name, if I say the name of the cannon, it fires, and then he said it. And it's like, oh, bam, it fires at him. And then he says it again, and it fires at him again, which is really funny. Which leads into a moment that I was like, oh, let's go. We got it. Sanji versus Zoro argument back on, but I'm not going to get into this today because my stance is Luffy beats them both, so it doesn't fucking matter. Alright. But, so basically at this point, it looks like, now it could be something completely different. There are theories, but it looks like the raid suit has awakened his Germa abilities, or physical Germa abilities. Let me be very specific on this, because we know what his mother took. Supposedly destroyed his Germa prospects, right? Destroyed his prospect of being a Germa child, which was good, really good. Led to an amazing arc and a good character up until Act 2 of Wano, but we're not gonna talk about that. But basically now what it looks like is all it did was conserve his emotions and delay his Germa abilities, or at least the raid suit brought them out. I don't think it's going to affect his personality. I really don't. I think that's going to stick, because I think that's what Oda's trying to convey. You can take advantages of your lineage, but as long as you remain true to yourself, you're never betraying your ideals. That's what he's saying, you know what I mean? I think that's what he's trying to convey, which I really enjoy with Sanji, Because Sanji has every right to take advantage of the technology and powers that his family has. Because as long as he remains true to his ideals and his characteristics, he can use those powers for the good of his friends, family, and people around him. So as long as he sticks to his ideals and still doesn't change his personality to fit his siblings, he's well within his rights to use the powers. I think that's where it's coming from. Now, it could also be we still have a separate issue, which could be the fact that his mother might have been Lunarian. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, but the Lunarian idea has been brought up so many times from Queen, and it looks like that's what King is, and the fire, because King has fire and all that jazz. So, my personal opinion is, I've justified in my head why the Germa thing makes sense, as long as he pertains to his emotions and his ideals. I think the Germa thing can work, because you can infer that it means, right, you can take advantage of your lineage and you can take advantage of your lineage and the people who take advantage of you to your benefit, as long as you stick to your ideals and don't stoop to their level. So that's the kind of way I'm interpreting it. Obviously, you can have different interpretations, but the other way that is completely safe with no need for an interpretation is the idea of him just being a Lunarian, or his mother being a Lunarian, right? And it just so happens that they're similar abilities, right? I mean, it'd be a bit of an arsehole, but not enough of an arsehole to make me kind of dislike it. You know what I mean? I'd be okay with it. But it's very cool to see. It's a very, very cool to see Sanji be a badass, right? So let me explain exactly what powers that is. So when he's being crushed by King, when that blaster thing happens, he gets up and all his bones are broken, but they automatically heal. And then when King attacks him again, he kind of just, the sword breaks on his neck. Like, do you realize how hyped that was? That was like, I would have screamed if only I wasn't at a place with other people in it, you know, that I would have screamed. I was like, I got to read it like 5 times because I had literally nothing to do, and I was just sitting there with like a few people doing it. Well, we were supposed to be doing stuff again, but it was just some pointless shit, so I didn't bother doing any of it. So I was just kind of sitting around reading One Piece chapters, which, you know, that's kind of my life. I'm okay with that, bro. One Piece chapters for the win, but yay. Anyway, yeah, so it was real hype. And obviously it brings Zoro and Sanji up to a different level, because we know Zoro's going to improve in this fight and masters Conqueror's Haki. So he's going to become, my opinion is at this point, the two of them are going to be, I feel like, Yonko level by the end of the series. Like, Sanji and Zoro are both going to be at the level where they can like fight up. I feel like by the end of the series, those two can beat the weakest Yonko. I don't know who that is yet. We'll figure out eventually. We'll 100% decide who the weakest Yonko is by the end of the series. But whoever it is by the end of the series, I feel like Zoro and Sanji can beat the weakest Yonko by the end of the series. I feel like that's going to be a thing, because for Luffy to be Pirate King level, I feel like his 2 top commanders have to be Yonko level. At least low on Yonko level. Which I think is what's happening now. They're kind of coming up to Yamato level. They're all on Yamato's. They're all stronger than Yamato now. Or at least Zoro will be in the middle of the King fight. You know what I mean? He'll become stronger in the middle of the King fight. Sanji is now stronger. For a while he's going to be stronger than Zoro. Right now he's stronger than Zoro, I'd say. And then it will even out back to where it was before, after the Zoro and King fight. Because I don't think you realize how much Zoro is going to power up in this fight. Because he's going to learn to master his Conqueror's Haki. So I'm very, very intrigued by this and all this stuff going on. Obviously there's stuff with Nico, Robin and Lucci going on in this chapter, but I want to talk about the possibilities of that in a separate thing. So that's something I will talk about. Hopefully it doesn't get elaborated on the next couple of chapters, because it might take me a while to get that out. Yeah. We got some more stuff I want to talk about real quick, which is we got to see Yamato's zone form, and it was so cool. It's a giant wolf. It's Wolf Link. It's base or Okami, whatever you like to refer to it as. But it's really cool. I really like the look of it. And one thing I want to, because we'll talk about that some other time when it gets more screen time. The most important thing before we end this is I want to talk about Momo, because Momo, I appreciate what they're doing, what Oda's doing with Momo, real quick, right? He's making Momo a very courageous character, but at the same time making him understandable, because he is willing to do all this stuff. He's just he's afraid of it. He'll do it and he'll complain about it as he's afraid of it, but he knows he has to and he'll do it. Doesn't mean he's not going to complain, because obviously there are issues and he doesn't believe he can do it, but he's still going to try. He's still going to try, and he's not going to give up until he does try. But he's just going to complain about it while he's doing it, which I respect. That's my lifestyle too, buddy. I respect that. And very last thing, Oda even got in on the thank you Sakurai business with that cover page. So that was really cool. We got basically, it was Nami and Usopp playing a video game, which we can now assume is Smash Bros, with all the other Straw Hats drawn as Smash Bros characters. Jinbei was Mario, which I thought was really cool. Luffy was Ken. Well, I mean, it could be Ken or Ryu. It's kind of a similar thing, but it was red, so it was Ken's uniform. Zoro was Link. Sanji was the Inkling, which is really cool. Frankie was Donkey Kong. My mate couldn't tell what Brook was. Chopper, what was Chopper? I actually had to look back. I don't remember what Chopper was. But they were really cool. And Robin was a devil lady. Didn't look like anyone in Smash. I'm assuming it was a Bayonetta. Kind of kind of thing to do based on Bayonetta. Or it could have been Ridley. I don't know. But it was a really cool thing to do to kind of show off his appreciation for Sakurai. Because we're all appreciating Sakurai this week. And always. Because he's a great man and he made such a great game. So to see such a great person like Oda and such a great mangaka. Also acknowledge the hard work and effort of such a great game designer. And such a dedicated worker. To an extent where he just needs a break, man. Like, take the next 5 years off, take a nice holiday, go travel the world, man, or go just lie in your bed for 5 years. Just relax, bro. You deserve it. Thank you for all the hard work you put into Super Smash Bros. And you know what? I really respect Oda for acknowledging that himself with Sakurai, with this really lovely art project, or cover page for him. So, fair play to Oda. But yeah, also, I must say, Nami giving off some real Pokemon vibes, which is so funny. I don't know why I find that so funny, but it just is. Thank you, Sakurai, and thank you, Oda. Alright, banger chapter and banger game.